All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Haikyuu, Season 4, Episode 18. All right, guys, Nekoma, we're getting focus here. Kenma, Kuro, and now the rest of the team as well. Mm-hmm. They're having their match against Sarukawa.
Yep, won the first set.
Yeah, a team that seems to be focusing on a lot of the same elements of strength that Nekoma has within their team, and that they are another defensive team that makes really solid connections. Mm-hmm. But they're trying to utilize their team strategy to wear out Kenma's stamina.
Right, and that could be a bit of a problem, but at the same time, it could be a great opportunity to show just how much Kenma cares about being here, about playing volleyball, and about winning, because pushing through... you know, the soreness and the sweat and all of that stuff isn't his usual style.
Right.
As was demonstrated last episode with the backstory. Mm-hmm. So if we get that, I'll be excited to see him push through it and fight for his team. And
he'll be able to lean maybe on some of his other teammates, like Yamamoto, for instance, another, fellow peer of his from his same class year, who kind of showed a lot of the deeper sides to him in the previous episode's backstory as well.
Polar opposites.
Yeah, very, very different characters in that respect. But, hey, these guys have to face Karasuno. So.
Yeah, like, they're going to win. Yeah. They're going to win.
But y'all, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Okay, so my bad. I've checked the brackets really quick, and no, they are facing Nekoma next if they beat Inarizaki.
Right. So
cool.
So Karasuno is going to beat Inarizaki. Like that has to
definitely going to happen.
That has to happen.
Yeah.
So that way they can
face
Nekoma.
That'd be way too painful. To say goodbye in passing and being like, please beat them for us. But no. Yeah. No. I think if anything, Inarizaki is going to start putting on the pressure here because a lot of what they've done has been, getting not only used to some of the things that they've been bringing into the match that are new specifically, like just the idea of the twins doing it quick, but the fact that, they've been feeling out how Karasuno plays. But Nekoma, this episode, wow. Yeah.
Good job, Kenma.
Good little mini arc to focus on Kenma's character.
Oh, yeah, because I feel like in shows like Haikyuu or where you have a lot of really passionate people, right? One, it's infectious, right? It's we love it. We love watching these passionate people do their passionate thing that they're passionate about with passion, right?
Yes.
Passion is fun to watch. Yeah. But passion doesn't come to everybody and not in the same ways, and it can be exhausting and
Yeah. And it can be annoying also seeing people around you being filled with this passion thing
that you're
get. I don't really get that as much. So is there something wrong with me? No, there's nothing wrong with you, dude. If anything, when you get those emotions that come up, just acknowledge that that's where you're at. Right. So when Kenma gets angry at gravity, he's like, damn it, gravity,
that was
you
great.
have to be like this because if gravity didn't exist, then I wouldn't feel pulled to the ground. And then the ball wouldn't land on our side of the court. What the hell? Why do I have to deal with this? And it's amazing because it's him also slipping in his mental state because he's so frustrated at the situation. So he has to find something to attack. And thus his aggression comes out in this way, thus leading him to come up with some creative ways of attacking back against Sarukawa.
Right, and I love the idea of the character that basically is, I'm going to say lazy, but the lazy is not quite the, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, right? But it's basically where, because Kenma doesn't like to expend energy, kind of in the similar way to Tsukishima, if he has to do something, he's going to find out a way to do the thing with expending the least amount of energy, right?
Yep.
So, that's a great sort of contradiction to bring up of, okay, the way that you can expend the least amount of energy is to actually do it all right now, right? To beat them in the second set rather than needing to do the third, because that would be awful, right? You would not be able to win that third set, or at least you wouldn't be able to play.
You would have less trust in yourself as well. So one of the things that this is it is basically showing the guts that Yamamoto was like, hey, you showed that there. And he's like, this is just my effort. And why are you so surprised that I showed effort? What I think what's cool here is that Kenma maybe also gets a little bit down on himself, so he's saying, like, I showed effort versus I don't show effort. If anything, to everyone else, it's all like, no, we saw aggression come from you. We saw that extra fire coming in there. Where does that come from? Because you show effort constantly. You finish everything you start.
Right.
You actually make it to the finish line on those big runs eventually. It takes you some time. But the fact that you do that when no one's watching, the fact that you actually stick with it, that still means something. That's a lot. That's effort. So it's so good. So wholesome.
I love that he was thinking about it from the standpoint of, okay, it's this secret move, it's this crazy technique that I don't have access to.
Yeah.
Right? And I get feeling like that because they're whether it's a state that you're in more often than not as sort of like your base state, or whether it's something where you're having an off day, and you can sometimes I know I'll sometimes see people that do things and I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Right. Or they keep doing something despite the fact that it's clearly something that they're struggling with, or at the very least that they're not showing as much energy with it as their peers are. So they kind of stick out in some ways. Yeah.
And the idea that he had kind of voted himself off of that island of being able to do that, but didn't realize that he'd been doing it this whole time.
Yeah.
How many points were there? And those were not easily won points.
Right.
After he fell. Right? When he was going for it, and and he couldn't make it, and his body gave out, but he kept going. Right?
Yep.
If that's not guts, then what is it? Now Kenma might not have the positive association with the idea of guts and things like that, right? He hasn't read Berserk, but so he doesn't like it being called that, which is very fitting for the cat.
Yeah.
But you showed real guts, Kenma.
You really
did. They saw it.
Yep.
And they're not going to forget it.
Nope. Definitely not.
And hey, now you just might be able to play Karasuno.
Yep.
Yeah,
it was point 23 and 21 when the fall started.
Wow.
When he fell.
And it went up to 32
to 30.
Right.
Which means that 7 and 11, so 18 points later. And that's 18 points, which means at the very least, it crossed back and forth between them, for 18 serves.
Who knows how many rallies there might have been in there, right? Like it's that is the proper term, right?
Rallies, I think is I'm not sure about a rally's technical term, but it is basically at least I think in a lot of sports when the point just goes on really long. But I think in volleyball it would have to be, if the team over here serves, they receive it, send it back over, and then this team serves or receives and sends it back over again without a point going, then that's probably a rally at that point.
Right, but this is something where that was a long time that passed, right? A long time. And Kenma, yes, what you were saying of guts is something that's for those people that train, body and soul and things like that. Yes, in a lot of ways, because it's the whole point of it's when you keep going past when you thought you would be able to, right? When you thought you would have to stop, and you don't.
Yeah.
But you were kind of leveling up right there.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah. One of the things that I really love to see when I'm playing just casual sports, more just kind of a pickup game of some kind, is when someone is kind of growling to themselves. And this is kind of a guy thing, I think, where when I'm playing a game and my teammate is next to me and we're making a move and stuff, they'll be like, come on. And it's like they're talking to their legs to go faster, to go harder, to move quicker, be more responsive. And it's kind of adorable because what it is it's them saying, my physical body needs encouragement.
Right.
Everything that I am is working at 100% or it's working at a high percentage, but I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more, so I'm going to get my mind into this and psych myself up. So Kenma does this in a reactionary way, which is just him being like, I want to show effort here, but I'm also just pissed off about the idea that these guys are so stubborn.
Right, we should have won by now.
The forces of nature are clearly conspiring against me.
Yep.
And then he's...
Curse you, gravity.
Right. He's basically the equivalent of a salty gamer who's getting upset at the way the game is designed.
Right,
when he's like, why won't you die, you know? And it's so adorable because we've all been there. But for this is something where he's not the only player. This is not something where he's getting salty and getting upset at his own team or something like that, or even getting upset at himself. And that shows so much to his character and just his maturity in that he's just getting generally frustrated. And he usually doesn't show that. He might feel that at times, but his teammates, I'm guessing, don't usually see it that often. One, because either in the physical arena, he's kind of behind them, lagging behind. He's a smaller guy, doesn't have as much muscle as them. But also, personality-wise, he's more reserved. He's not necessarily showing his emotions in that respect. So that's why you need a Kuro to kind of come in every once in a while and be like, hey, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, how you doing? And just that little bit of checking on him when he's like growling at gravity sends the coach the signal to the other setter of like, hey,
just in case.
Get ready, just in case. Yep, exactly. I love their team bond dynamic because it is really the thing that's so special about them.
Yes, the part where they showed all the fists going in, that was excellent. I loved that. Like,
and also just seeing the individuals in the team kind of mesh really well with Kenma at times and stuff, despite the fact that they know that like, he doesn't have much room in his life to get like really close to them or anything as people, but it's just respect. I love it.
Yeah. I feel like this was something where Kenma was able to learn that guts doesn't have to mean machismo and like, I'm going to run laps around you and all that stuff. Yeah. But even if it just comes from that salty frustration, right, of like, damn it, gravity, why must you be this way? That can still be guts too.
Right.
Wherever it comes from, you pushed past your own limits. You figured out a new side of yourself that you didn't think was there before, maybe. So that'll probably help you a lot in the fight against Karasuno.
I love that he thought back to his little interaction with Hinata when he was asked, if your team is any good, and it's just like him thinking like, yeah, my team's the best. My team's awesome. But it's those little moments where he's realizing in some ways that there are people out there that are going to be giving that little bit of extra. And yes, it might probably on some level frustrate him that people like that exist and keep bumping into him and being like, hey,
right.
But in some ways, you can tell he's also kind of like, okay, I kind of like that too.
Right, like a cat, he'll put up with it because,
Touch me, damn it! Not like that. Okay, but keep like that.
But you're not that bad.
Yeah,
right?
You're not that. I will tolerate this love and affection.
I will not try and trip you down the stairs,
Today.
Right now. For a little bit.
Okay, now let me outside. We're done.
Yeah, right. Like, so, I'm really excited to see how the whole match goes because Nekoma as a team has been one of those ones where I love them as a team. I loved when they were introduced, right? But it's also something where it was like I felt like there was more that was going to happen with them that we weren't getting yet, right? Yeah. Because they were, they're far away from Karasuno, right? They're not going to get the chance to face Karasuno for a really long time. Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yeah.
But now we get to see this character, Kenma, who is the complete and utter opposite of Hinata, who we've been wanting to see face up against Karasuno and Hinata, we're going to get to see them fight because they are... Inarizaki is going to lose. Yeah. They are definitely going to lose.
We keep telling ourselves that.
Yep.
It's like, they must.
Because
we have to have this match. Don't you dare take this away from us.
Do not rob this from us. Like, you don't do that. Because one of the other reasons why I want to see them, playing a match is because if this is what was drawn out of Kenma by facing this one team who wasn't like, some crazy powerhouse team or anything, they were a good team, right?
Yeah.
But Nekoma won in 2 sets, right?
Yeah, they seem to be like the more athletic, taller version of them, except for Lev, of course. But they didn't really bring anything super new to the table. It was just a really pointed strategy that could have worked if Kenma didn't pull out his genius maneuvers.
Those were wonderful.
Like, those are tactics, y'all. Like, Kenma, if he was like, if he's like a reincarnated like battle general from like the Shogun era or something like that, he would have been terrifying to behold on the battlefield.
And it's also something where like, because him pushing through, him having guts isn't just break my limits, right? It's okay, fine, I'm gonna do this really dirty thing that they will not see coming, right?
Yeah. And I'm also going to trust my teammates to be able to perform perfectly.
Right.
By setting, in some ways, a really high standard for them of being like, you guys can do this, right? It'd be really hard. And they're like, no. Dude,
we got it.
We can totally do that.
You're the one that's under pressure right now.
Are you sure you want us to pass on a lot of that pressure onto you? And it's not a thing of where they're like, you can't do that. They're like, are you sure about this? Because we'll totally do it. We're on your side. We have your back. It's the perfect example of the best 6 on the court, are the ones that will win. Because what this team tried to do, Sarukawa, is they basically said, we're going to turn them into 5. We're going to break them down to that there.
Not a bad strategy.
Yeah, and in some ways, it's kind of a defensive version of what Shiro Torizawa was with Yoshijima, basically being like, we're going to point all of our offensive energy into this one
through this
powerhouse
massive cannon, and yeah,
and this is more of the Star Wars Shatterpoint equivalent of we're going to hit what would be the physical weakness of Nekoma, and Kenma's just like, all right, I'll take it, but I'm gonna speed run this, and we're going to end this match here, the second set. And then we get the wholesome moment at the end. It's like eating the bananas. Like, this is so weird that I worked hard for my friends. And then Yamamoto's like, Kenma! Like, oh my God.
I love Kenma's. I love Kenma's sort of angry pout face. Like,
yes, his face
is so adorable. It is so cute. Like,
so good.
Because this is something that he maybe feels very strongly about. Right. Yeah, even if I don't hang out with you guys too much, you're my friends, and I'm gonna make sure I do the best I can for you.
Yeah. I also love that this is all Yuki Kaji, doing all this here.
Like, as far as voice pick for Kenma, I mean, even though this was, a while ago, like Haikyuu started a long time ago, but Yuki Kaji just does such an amazing job.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
I love how his 2 first-year peers are like, they're second years now, but are all like just like spread all eagle there, and Lev is just like, ooh, banana, like, like does not like have any interest in getting into the whole thing there. He's just like, food, yes, but then this little moment between Yaku and Kuro here, where he's like, if only he could get half as aggressive in volleyball as he does playing video games, and he's like, hey, could you
stop narrating my thoughts? Yeah.
Narrate my thoughts? Yeah.
Yep. But there's someone that he does get aggressive towards. That's Hinata. And if this is what if this is what he did against a regular old team, right? How much more is Kenma going to really try? Is Kenma going to show guts in the match with Karasuno?
Because one of the things that makes them similar, and it's a good thing to be reminded of at times, is that Kenma is looking at someone who is his height, or maybe not that, maybe not as short as him, but
similar,
really small, and is basically doing all the impossible things, that Kenma looks at and doesn't necessarily get, jealous or frustrated at, but just kind of goes, wow.
Yeah,
you're an enigma. You're an anomaly.
Question mark.
My logic brain basically goes, yeah, you're dumb at that, and you're bad at that.
But these things, the numbers just don't add up.
But you are just something else. So it's almost like he's basically like, he's already kind of a little giant for me.
You know what it feels like?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that is really sweet.
Yeah.
But you know what cats love to do?
Oh.
They love to lie in the sun.
Oh.
And I feel like that's kind of what it is.
He's just like spread out. Hinata, just stay right there.
Just don't move. He won't tell anybody, like he won't tell anybody that he likes lying in the sun.
Oh yeah.
But
he does. With one as bright as this, it's hard to ignore this sun.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
But y'all, Nekoma gonna face Karasuno. It has to happen. It has to happen.
It has to happen.
I will bet like money and like all kinds of stuff.
Same.
I will I will eat something ridiculous in this room if it doesn't happen.
I will be just a wee bit peeved if they don't. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh my God. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion, well, tune in next week because we'll have it up there. If you want to see full-length timer versions of this reaction, though, check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support gets you access to our Discord where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also check out our Twitch channel.
Indeed, our Twitch channel, link in the description or info in the description. Monday through Friday is when we stream at 3 p.m. Pacific time each of those days. Monday is podcast, Tuesday is One Piece dramatic manga readings.
Right.
Wednesday and Friday is Caleb Gaming.
Yep, I'm playing Hades right now.
And then Thursday is me gaming, which right now is Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.